Welcome back. This is Cheyenne Life, or Debbie, and this is another part. And I'm even forgetting what part I'm into now. Part 5, 6. Anyway, still going on the garden tour. So I've got another white pumpkin that I had tucked away here in the front of the potatoes. And I do have some sunflowers that are planted in between each of the rows of corn at the very front, which are just now starting to come up. And then, of course, this is the peaches and cream corn. It is looking fantastic. I have hoed it a couple times. Really has taken off on growth in the last just couple of days. There's a couple of strands left of the early sun glow. And I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to leave it and let it go. Let's see what happens. I hope it doesn't cross-pollinate. It might. We'll find out. Anyway, that is the early sun glow and the peaches and cream. And I did go ahead and there's a couple of spots in here where the corn didn't come up. I did go ahead and replant some more seeds in there to see if they'll come up. But that's only been a few days ago, so I'm waiting. And then, of course, always in the shaded section, it's going to be smaller corn. So these corn are still looking good. They're just a little bit shorter, as you can see here as we get into the shade. And then here, also I did plant the Blue Lake long pole beans in between each one of the corn. So we have that all along this section. They're just now beginning to come up. I think you might be able to see one coming up right there. But they are just now beginning to come up and they'll run up the corn. So we have a modified Three Sisters project here, which I've done in the past. We have Tahitian squash out here on the edge. Beautiful Tahitian squash here. And those are basically like a butternut, only just larger. They get up to 30 pounds butternut size, or butternut style of squash. So they're going to be great. I experienced those last year, and I said, I want some of those seeds. And my friend said, okay, I'll give you some of those seeds. But she was a little worried that they had cross-pollinated with something. But I didn't care. I was just like, I want to have those squash, because I think butternut squash are a little bit too small, especially for a family. So I just thought this was great. You could take one squash that is that large of a size and have it for a whole family. So anyway, have that. And then I also planted some basil all around this stump. This is a lilac stump that I had just cut out, and it was just so large I couldn't get the rest of it out. So waiting for it to die off before I get it pulled out of this section. But we went ahead and planted basil all around this stump. And it does get sun for most of the day, so that will go ahead and come up and be beautiful. And then right here in front of the Tahitian, I had planted some Armenian Armenian cucumbers. And these are the Methi White, which get a little bit faster growing than the traditional Armenian. So I've got those growing there. Just came up in the last few days. Got more basil here, and these are the basil from my seed that I had saved in these two containers, which will go inside in the winter. I've got a couple of hanging strawberry plants that I had picked up for ever-bearing strawberries, because we were just struggling with the strawberries. And we have strawberries on these, and we've been getting strawberries off of them and enjoying those. I've got a lemon thyme here tucked away between these flowers. I'm not really sure. I don't remember what these are called, but they remind me of what my mom used to call coxcomb. But they remind me a lot of that, but they're not those. Anyway, and I've got some oregano in this pot, which is coming up and flourishing here. And I've got some more thyme in this pot, a different variety, which all came up. And this was a very cheap little pack of thyme seeds from Big Lots. And every single one of them come up, and I've struggled to get thyme to grow this year. Got some spinach tucked away in here just to see how well it will do in a pot. And we've got another one of the tomatoes, and I think this is a yellow pear tomato. And I just trimmed it up yesterday on the bottom leaves again, because they keep just sending out shoots, and you got to keep at it. And then we've got some cantaloupes here. This is the Charentois cantaloupes. And they are really starting to pick up on growth now and sending out their runners. And I've got them all trellised now. You can see my bamboo trellises that I made. I found these bamboo that were left over from the previous owners of the house in the garage. And there was just worlds of bamboo because they did art projects and stuff, and I think they picked them up for that. But found those, made trellises out of those. And then we've got those galvanized steel garden beds, and I've got a couple of sun sugar yellow cherry tomatoes in here, as you can see the tag. So I've got those here. The one that was really small, still small, but it's really beginning to put on some growth, and I did do some trimming on it yesterday as well as the other one. And then we have a red curry squash tucked in there as well, and it's really beginning to pick up on some growth. I've got some jalapenos in there because we didn't have any hot peppers. None of us eat really hot peppers that often, but I do eat jalapenos from time to time. And I did plant some nasturtium here in the back. Sorry, you can see let me see if I can go around so you can see them. They are coming up, so I've got nasturtium here in the back that'll trellis up. And then clematis in the front. And I don't think the clematis here in the front is going to do anything this season because these were brand new roots. So I don't think this one's going to do anything this season. It'll probably be next season when it starts really doing something. And button marigolds, as well as these purple plants that I forget the name of. And they have really started coming out. I call them the little pincushion purple plants. And we've got more basil here. This is the mammoth basil. And we have some more basil here. This is the purple and the red. So far it looks like only the purple one came up. So I'm going to try to find a section in the garden where my daughter can plant the red and the purple because it just seems to be struggling to be in a pot. And then we have more of the Charentois cantaloupes. And these were much younger plants, but they're really starting to catch up. And then the same here with this galvanized steel bed. We have the same plants in here with the nasturtium in the back. And this clematis is doing something. It did trellis up. And I ended up it was supposed to be one root, and I ended up with a second one that I'm going to have to trellis that one as well. Another Charentois cantaloupe, and this one is the one that's doing the most growth. And it has actually already started out its runners, and even got a couple of blooms on it. So looking forward to that. And then we have a straight 8 cucumber next to it, which I'll need to move so they don't cross-pollinate. And then we have a Minnesota midget. This is my first season growing these, and they are looking beautiful. These are a much younger plant. I started these many weeks after the Charentois, and they're already catching up to the Charentois. We've got some flowers here, just looking beautiful, with some supposed to be black petunias, but they're just really dark purple. And some verbena in the front, which is really starting to spread out now. I look forward to seeing some more blooms on that possibly. And then this was a manzanilla that I had picked up at reduced price, and it really looked rugged when I got it. And it is looking absolutely fantastic now. And I'm beginning to see some buds on it, so it will start blooming again. And I'm not sure what color it's going to be. It's either going to be pink or red, and possibly even yellow. So we will find out. So look forward to that when it starts blooming. Now this is my grandson's little pot that he has, and I had tucked him away. A little yellow pear tomato in here was one of the ones that I had that was struggling. And it's now doing beautifully, starting to get much bigger. I did trim it off a little bit, and I've got an eggplant in there for him. And this eggplant is doing the best out of all of them. So we might actually see something out of that eggplant. And he has a flower that volunteered in there as well, and I think it's probably a pansy. And then we've got some sweet peppers over here. These are the kaleidoscope blend. Actually just one pepper in there. The rest got killed out by hailstorm. And we got a couple of eggplants in there. And then we've got a Klondike watermelon. I wanted to try those. I got some Klondike watermelon seeds. I've got another Klondike that's tucked away in the garden, but this one is the one I'm trying in a pot, and it's the one doing the best. So we've got the Klondike here, and we've got a couple of eggplants in there that are doing great, and some more button marigolds and those little purple pincushion flowers. Alright, now we're out in the herb garden section. So like I said, I got lots of plots of where I put garden plants, vegetables, and herbs and all of that. So you see my columbine here back in the corner is just about to finish up its blooming. But it has loads and loads and loads of blooms on it. I even cut some off and took them inside, and it's still blooming on the inside too. So we have that, and we've got the salvia, which will be coming out in the fall. I'm going to be taking it out of this section because it just takes up so much room. And then the plants actually start looking pretty eaten up by bugs. I noticed that ants really like to bite the leaves of the salvia plants. And honeybees love them. I love to have them here because of the honeybees. However, they just take up so much room, and they just lay all over the place, and they smother other things out. And I tucked away another German queen tomato over here to replace the one that got broken, but the broken one ended up coming back out. So now we just have an extra German queen. So I stuck it over here. It's doing really well. It's only been here for a few days, so it's got to acclimate to the wind, and it's got to acclimate to the soil and all of that. So I had done a little feeding on it, and it's had a little pest pressure from the ants. We just have ants really bad in the herb garden section, and I've really been treating those, so I've noticed less and less of those. So hopefully we'll get those out of here. Anyway, so the banana squash, which really hasn't done a whole huge amount of growth, they seem kind of slow to me, so I'm not really sure if we will have anything off of these. I really hope that we do, because I've never had banana squash before. But this one does look like it might do something, because it's got, looks like a center section is getting ready to have a runner. And then I did go ahead and pick up yesterday 3 spaghetti squash, which I have put along the sides here. It looks like I might lose one of them because there was 3 of them. The way that they have done planting of seedlings this year just infuriates me. Anyway, I picked these up yesterday, and they were stuck in one pot, and their roots were very close together. They looked like they had planted them all in the same darn hole. And I separated them out. 2 of them look like they're doing fine. The one in the middle looks like it may not make it. So we'll see. And then I had some gladolias planted here, 6 of them, and only 2 of them came up, it looks like. So, oh no, I see a 3rd one. So we have a 3rd one coming up. So hopefully they'll do something. They may not this season, maybe next season. And then I got a black petunia and another verbena that is tucked in here. The verbena's kind of struggling, but they had already bloomed already, so I'm not sure what'll happen with those. And I noticed that there's a splash of other colors on the black petunia, which is very strange, kind of a chimera thing. And then we've got a lemon balm here and some chamomile. Chamomile are looking wonderful, and I've got some more seeds of chamomile planted in here, which have came up. Little tiny guys that are starting to take off, but you can't really see them. And then a couple of volunteer sunflowers that are in here, and I planted a couple more. And then in this front section, we've got cicadas, sweet melon that I had just planted in here. We'll see if they do anything. They may not. And ranunculus is in here that's just now starting to come up. And we've got our oregano. This is the decorative oregano, but you can eat it. Starts to willow, kind of like a willow tree over, bend over, weep, kind of like a weeping willow over. And then we've got some parsley that's planted here in front of the oregano that is just now starting to come up. And that's going to be the triple curl parsley. And then I think I had an extra banana squash that came up, which I stuck over here. And then 3 of the acorn squash over here, which are just doing great. My elf thyme is doing wonderfully. As you know, I have 2 patches in this part, and it's starting to spread again, so I'm going to have to cut it back some more. And then the red lilies, which are just now getting ready to open, you can see right there starting to open, and there will be 6 bunches of red lilies that are just putting on amazing amount of blooms. There's like 11 to 12 blooms on each of these. And then here in this back section, I had planted some trilliums, and I think they are just now starting to come up. So we have all of that going on in the herb garden. So that is the summer tour of my garden here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Hope everyone loved it. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Want to see notices on new videos. Sorry about all the parts of this, but my garden is just so darn big this year. And we will see you in the next one.